Welcome to Curated by Culture. I am your curator, Cassandra. Why did I just do that in my Oprah voice? Culture. Um, Thank you as always for joining me on another episode. I I was having a conversation recently. I know I always start like that, but I was thinking about this right before I hit record. Um, and this is honestly a conversation that I have a lot with a lot of people when we talk about dating. A lot of people express the pee in the dating pool, or I can't find anybody because of this, or this is happening, and so I'm always intrigued by these conversations because I'm like, is there pee in the dating pool, or is it that you haven't figured yourself out yet and you're still choosing the wrong people? Oof, I hate that for y'all. I'm sorry. I was recently having a conversation with a really good friend of mine. You knew I was coming there. I was having a conversation, and he's dating. He's newly dating. He has 3 kids, divorced, and he's saying the same thing. And I'm like, all right, well, what are you looking for? And as he broke it down, like, and I'm not going to get into everything he said, but some of the key points that I remember were, my kids have a mom. They have a wonderful mom. My ex-wife is amazing. But I do want somebody who can be a good role model for my kids. Somebody who, when they're with us, still feels the same love, from a mother. This woman can offer them that. She can be part of my legacy that I'm trying to build. She can help me walk more in my purpose by how, she helps me and navigate certain things. And I was like, well, this is admirable. I mean, this sounds amazing. Like, why wouldn't anybody want to date you? And, or, all these other things like this. I know these women are out there. And he's like, well, where are they? And I'm showing him, I'm like, well, I know this person. She'd be great for that. I know this person. Or look at these. Like, I even went through celebrities. I was like, look at all these amazing women. And it was like, yeah, 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 whatever, whatever. So then the more we got into the conversation, I'm like, well, show me what you're looking, like show me some of these women that you're dating. And as he went through it, I stopped and I'm like, well, you're choosing eye candy, but what you want is soul food, right? And I think that's the same for everybody, men and women. We're all wanting somebody to fill us in all these great ways. Like, when you think about relationships, when you think about dating, a lot of it is romanticized by what we see, what we've learned, what we know. And it's like, oh, I want this. I want the fairy tale. And sure, there's nothing wrong with wanting the fairy tale. I think it's achievable, it's attainable. But I think in chasing the fairy tale, we need to come to a better understanding of a few things. One, a lot of people, myself included, we started dating at a younger age, right? 14, 15, 16, whatever. And we chose our types back then. We don't even know ourselves. So how can we know what we want in another person if we don't even know ourselves? That's the first point I would want to make. Like, we have to get a better understanding of us before we can get a better understanding of what we do or don't like. Because we don't even know ourselves to make that decision. But a lot of us choose a type at a young age, then we assume that's our type and we follow that. We carry that throughout a big chunk of our lives, and some to the end of our lives. Like, that was my type. Meanwhile, nothing happened with you in this quote unquote type. Like, nothing great happened, should I say. Like, sure, you could have had some kids. I'm not saying that's not a great thing, but there were other things that probably happened. Or that quote unquote type, we're no longer married to it. We no longer have it. We're no longer in relationships because they all turned out to be not good for us, not great relationships, nothing that was fulfilling us. So really, is that your type? That's the real first question. Like, is that really your type, or was that what you chose when you were 16, 17, and you let that ride into your adult years, and now here you are searching for your type? I think as we're doing work, and we should be doing work, like, the whole point of evolution and growth is we get a better understanding of ourselves. We get a better understanding of ourselves once we let go of our traumas, once we heal from our traumas, when we grow from our traumas. First, we need to understand what our traumas are too, but that's a topic for another day. But once we get into all of that, we start to learn ourselves. And realistically, our type should change. There's no way in the world that I would say, oh, do all this work and then just go back to the same things that maybe broke you, that maybe hurt you, that you were choosing because of. Some women choose the wrong types of men because of the issues that they had with their dads. Some men choose the wrong types of women because of the issues that they had with their moms. So you got to do the work on yourself and then understand who you were is no longer who you are or who you want to be. And in the process of doing all that, you should be looking and choosing a different type. I hate to keep saying type, but I mean that's really what we're going with. But it's like the discussion on that podcast. I forget the name of it, but it was like a not football, but footballers, more than something like that. But it was where the dude was talking about Sierra. He was like, oh, you go from Future to Russ, and Russ is a simp. And there was a lot of Instagram or social media discussion around it. But one of the guys, I think Ryan Clark, has said something like, it's not that she was, I forgot exactly what he said, but the basis of it was she was searching for peace. She chose Russ because she was searching for peace. And I think that was a great point to make. It's like, okay, sure, maybe Future was her type, but once you go through so much and once you heal from what you've gone through, you shouldn't still be wanting Future. You should be wanting the person who brings you the most peace, the person who understands you, the person who's choosing to understand you, the person who's understanding of who you are today. Post healing, we're not the same person, not post healing, but while we're healing, we're no longer the same person that we were. We're no longer suffering from the same aches and pains and traumas. We've grown past that, hopefully, because that's the goal. And in this new space, I want peace. I want somebody that brings me peace. And great, if it's tied into a good looking package, I don't think Russell's a bad looking guy. If it's tied into a good looking package, that's even better. But the base needs to be like, we shouldn't be seeking based on the physical, because when we're 16, 17, we're choosing people based on what they look like physically, right? That's the reality. Like, kids are brutal. Kids are mean. Like, as much as we love kids, and for a lot of us back then, there was a lot of bullying that happened. Like, it's not the same way as it is now. I think now it's a lot different, but kids can be mean, at the young age of 8, 9. And if you're a heavy set guy or heavy set girl and somebody calls you fat, that sticks with you, right? Like, that sticks with you. Those things stick with you. And so just the same as those things stick with you, like having a type at 16, 17 could stick with you, and you don't need that. You need to let go of that. So I think that would be the first thing I would say to people who are like peeing in the dating pool. I'm like, but are you choosing a type based off the physical? Are you choosing a type based on who you used to be? Or are you choosing based on who you are now, or who you want to be, or the goal that you have for your life? Because I think if we start looking at that, we're going to start choosing more people who are good for our soul, and less people who less of what looks good next to me. A lot of people choose based off what looks good next to them, while not realizing that's all that is. Or listen, ladies who make it, oh, I want a man with money. Well, that man's gonna have money, sure, great, wonderful, but he's gonna have money all over town, if you know what I mean. He's not just gonna have money for you, he's gonna have money for everybody. Do you want that? Is that what you're looking for? Or do you want a man who is financially stable? Like, I'm not saying that shouldn't be on your list. If you're making a list, you know how I feel about lists. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be choosing a person who's financially stable, but you should be choosing a person who is good for you, who's good for your soul. Peace comes from within. Happiness comes from within. Can this person bring that to the plate? To the table, should I say? Not the plate. Can this person bring that to the table? Does this person bring you peace? Is this person also happy, and coupled with your happiness, you guys are ultra happy? Or is this person just here to drain something from you? If it's a woman who's dating a man with money, that's all that he's good for you. And I hate that for y'all. I think we need to really stop saying this pee in a dating pool and start reevaluating ourselves and what we're looking for. Now, if they're still peeing in a dating pool, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think then the question needs to be, are you deserving of whatever it is you're seeking? Oof, I hate that for y'all. Because sometimes we think we deserve, I deserve this person, I deserve that person. But do you? Because then if you get into the relationship with them, or you get into it with them, are you still bringing those old ways to the relationship? Or are you bringing a new way, a new thought process, healing? Are you healed in this relationship? Because the whole idea that we're out here seeking for people and still not finding them, and we've done the work, I don't believe it. I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but for the men who constantly seek eye candy, there is the problem right there. You're just looking for something that looks good, that is appealing, but this person doesn't feed your soul. I think I've found this in a lot of men, and I say this because I have mostly male friends. A lot of men really just want to be understood, and they want to be able to have these discussions. They want to be able to express themselves. They want to be loved on just the same. But then they're seeking for the chick who's eye candy, who on Twitter just said, "Oh, if a man cries in front of me, he's corny." Is this what you want? Like, I'm so confused. Like, and this is an actual person that I know. That's why I'm like, I hate this for y'all. Um, I don't know. I think that we need to start searching differently in what we're looking for. We need to stop choosing the physical, but really start thinking about what are this person's values? Does this person talk to God? And if so, how often? Does this person only talk to God, to say thank you for getting them out of the last 2 days of whatever tomfoolery they were in? Or does this person talk to God every day just to express gratitude? I think that's the place we all need to start. We need to stop looking at the dude on Instagram in his gray sweatpants and his shirt off and start looking at the dude who's trying to positively affect change in his community. Like, that would be what I would recommend to people. I'm like, well, what are you choosing people based off of? Choosing them based off of what they look like, you're always going to be disappointed. I hate to tell you that. You're always going to be disappointed, and for so many reasons. So many reasons. If you choosing people based on their physical, your face can be altered. That's a reality. Our bodies can be altered now. Our faces can be altered. So what are you choosing them based off of? The superficial? That's terrible. It's really terrible. Anyway, in continuing this conversation, like, the other part of it is, ladies and gentlemen, is understanding our worth. Ladies, like, to go back to the lady the girls who were just dating men for money or whatever, like, it's not okay to be okay with dating a man who's dating several other people if that's not what you want. Because a lot of women are settling for that. A friend of mine always says, show me a better man than Martin Luther. I think I talked about this last season. I always like, what do you mean? She was like, well, all men cheat. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I know I am an unpopular opinion with that. I know I have an unpopular opinion with that. But the reality is, like, no, you're just used to choosing people who cheat. There are good people out there who only want to be in one relationship with only one person. I think it's just a matter of stop choosing your type because your type has always been that way. Your type always had 3 women. Your type always dealt with this many women or whatever it is. Meanwhile, you don't realize, like, there's somebody who wants you for you. There's somebody who's out there who's willing to love you and you alone. I'm not telling people to settle. I definitely don't think that, but I think understanding yourself is the first main key point. Understand yourself so you can understand really what you want. And then once you understand yourself and you can get to that point of really what you want, the next point will be choosing properly, making better choices, right? As we heal and as we grow, we have to make better choices. What's the future that you're looking for? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do next? I really, 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 really have so many conversations with women who were like, yeah, but all the men cheat, so at least no, 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 no. That is settling, ladies. And men have standards. Trust me, they have standards. We talked about this last season, right? We talked about the double standards that men have. Like they can go out and do what they want to do, but you do it. You're out. I'm done with you. So think more like a man in that. Like, and be firm on that boundary. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. Like, I don't want that. And you can do it. No, let me not say that you can't do it. Like, you don't hold anybody hostage, but you do that, I'm out. And that's okay, guys. That's okay if they decide to be out. Like, just as you have standards, you should want somebody with standards too, right? What happens if you are dating a woman and she catches you cheating and you apologize for it and say you're going to change, but then you do it again? This is what that hamster wheel looks like. You're just repeating the vicious cycle over and over again. Don't miss that part for yourselves. You'll know when you're ready to settle down, just the same. Which leads me to my next thought. That came out of nowhere. I just thought about this as I was saying this. So it wasn't like, not that I have any real notes, I just keep writing. But men need to get out of the thought process of women can't handle the truth. Sorry, guys. Women can handle the actual truth. There's an actual truth that women can handle. When you're actually being truthful, we can handle that. When you're only feeding us bits and pieces of the quote unquote truth, that's when we get messed up. And that's when the relationship takes a turn and you're like, I told you couldn't handle it. That's not true. A friend of mine, I don't know this guy personally, so I can't really tell you his whole thing, but I know we've discussed it and I know he said he'd be fine. Like, I know him, but not like to that extent. But he I believe was married once and then, post divorce, and he has kids or whatever. Now in his life, he's very honest with women and saying like he he'll want to date you, but he'll want to date other people. And even though that goes against what I just said, I appreciate the honesty. Like, he gets into a relationship with Cindy. I'm just using Cindy. And he says, hey, Cindy, I'm also dating Jacqueline. So now Cindy knows about Jacqueline and Jacqueline knows about Cindy. And both Jacqueline and Cindy are okay with it. But he also says, I don't want to settle down. Everybody moves great and it's wonderful until. And that's where he is, because he's like, everybody likes it until they get like, more attached. And I guess he's fine with just jumping around. But the reality of, there's a few things that are happening here. One, he's being honest, which I appreciate. Men, we can handle the truth. Jacqueline and Cindy both stayed. They didn't leave. They both stayed. However, as time went on in the relationship, one of them caught feelings and it no longer served them, which is also fine. But, I think what happens with a lot of men is they think that women can't handle the truth. When we're dating, we should only be seeking the truth. That's it. Who are you? How do you move? How do you move? How do I move? What are we doing? How do we do it together? I think that's wonderful when we're dating. Now, once we get to that point where we're really ready to settle down, everything kind of changes. Jacqueline and Cindy are not going to choose him because that's not what he wants. It was fun while it lasted. Nobody got hurt because there was honesty. Stop thinking that, and this is in the dating process, ladies and gentlemen, stop thinking in the dating process we need to hide and we need to lie. Let's be our most authentic selves in the dating process, because we can kind of weed out some people. I wholeheartedly feel like he's going to get past that I want to date multiple women phase in his 50s. He's not there yet. I think he's like early 40s, late 30s. When he gets to his 50s, he'll get there. But for now, while we're in the dating process, while we're in the age of dating, while we're looking for people, while we're seeking people, let's be fully honest about what we want, what we expect, and what we're doing. This will help us to navigate the waters a little bit easier, and it won't feel like pee anymore. Now it's like, oh, this is truth and honesty. This is what truth and honesty looks like. This is what mature relationships looks like. This is what a healed person looks like. He's being honest with me. I can be honest with him. And if it works, great. But if it doesn't, still great. But lessons learned, points made, notes taken. I don't want this. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the freaking face. We Time is so valuable. We should not treat it like, oh, I can just date this person. I can do this for the next 4 years. No. What's your end goal? Figure out what your end goal is. If you're 30 and you want to be married, happily married with kids at the end of the road, like, if you want to build this legacy, if you want this life and you want these start thinking about that now. Start choosing for that now. If you're in your 40s and your 50s and you're past all that rah rah and you're looking, start thinking about what you want. What's the life you want? The ladies want soft and beautiful lives, guys. That's what we want. We want soft and beautiful. Post all the trauma and the stress and all the realities of life. We want soft and beautiful. Give that to me in honesty, first and foremost. I don't know any woman will be like, oh, I don't know. I want to be lied to. No one wants to be lied to. Because the reality of the honesty is I can still choose you, but I can also still keep figuring it out myself. And, let me see what I want to do. Let me see what I don't want to do. And who knows? For me, I think I've gained so many amazing friends from being honest with men. Like, I don't play this game with them where it's like, oh, yeah, maybe. Nope. I'm honest from the door. Like, I'm not looking for a relationship with you, but you're an interesting type of guy or whatever the case might be. And that helps me. That helps them too. Like, don't hit on me. Like, I always say that. I'm like, I'm not the one. But I think we need to start reevaluating so many things in that process of dating. So many of us are searching for like, we really want soul food, but what we keep choosing is eye candy. This looks good. Like, you're not going to see too many people walking in their purpose with the eye candy walking next to them. But now you're going to see the guy who chose the soul food, walking in his purpose, doing the right thing. Guys and girls, I don't know why I keep saying guy, but we're gonna walk in our purpose when we choose the right people. This is part of emotional healing that we don't understand. We keep choosing based off of our types. We keep choosing based off of our traumas. We keep choosing based off of these other things, when what we really should be looking for are people who are good for our souls. I am peace. There's peace within me. I am love. There's love within me. What do you bring to my life? If it's not these wonderful and amazing things, it doesn't work for me. And I mean that for all my relationships, like everything, anybody, woman, man, sister, cousin, like, it has to be peace at all times for me. That's no longer a negotiate. Like, I'm not in negotiations there. Bring me peace or bring me nothing at all. Leave. that's a reality. Anywho, that was my thoughts on the P in the dating pool. I gotta think of a good title for this episode. I have another random thought. And maybe, I hope it's popular opinion. I saw on Instagram something about Mean Girls. Like, me, that we're not doing that anymore, ladies. When were Mean Girls ever a thing? Ladies, the idea of being mean towards somebody else is something of a evil spirit. And I always talk about it because I recently encountered it, like, personally. Somebody was trying to be a mean girl, or there were some girls who were trying to be mean girls towards me, not understanding that I'm unbothered by that stuff. Like, I know who I am. I walk in my purpose. You can't knock me off my pedestal. So it didn't really affect me in that way. But I encountered it and I realized and I saw it and I was like, wow, how ugly. Ladies, in 2022, the year of our Lord, we should not be mean or ugly. There should be none of that. These girls were on Instagram talking about how they're the pretty girl, not the Instagram, not the Instagram. Oh my God, not Instagram, Twitter, and talking about how, they're the pretty girls and ugly girls. They don't even know. That's why ugly girls say this and I was looking to see what they were calling ugly girls. These were just natural, beautiful, natural women. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all beautiful. We're all beautiful. We are all made in his image. We are all equally beautiful. Let's let go of any ideologies of mean girls or ugly versus pretty. Like, that is so whack to me. I'm sorry. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I would hope not. But we need to get out of those thought processes where it's, especially within our Black community, it's you versus me. No, we are one. Okay. We are all equally beautiful. beauty and is in the eye of the beholder. So maybe somebody that's not attracted to you is not attracted to you, but they would be attracted to somebody else. So um I really, really, really want to see more or hear more of, and if you're listening or you watch or you're a subscriber or whatever, seriously, let's just wake up every day and be better people. Ladies and gentlemen, I started it off with Mean Girls, but I think in general, humanity is suffering so hard from the lack of love, empathy, compassion that's happening these days, and it's so weird to me. And an old pastor that I used to listen to, he used to say that's like a unique agitation. When you see something that bothers you, when you see something that's happening and it bothers you but doesn't bother other people, that's unique agitation. That really bothers me. When I see those types of comments, I really want to be like the old mom on Twitter and say something, but I kind of leave it alone because I'm like, what we not about to do is argue on here. But I think if there were more people pointing out the same thing, being a mean girl in this day and age at our big old ages, like really, that's weird to me. Like, cut it out. Anyway, you know what I'm gonna say. Thank you as always for listening. I'm on Instagram. I'm on all that stuff. Blah blah blah. I don't know it. I'm gonna be very honest. Like I haven't posted anything on Instagram in a long time. And it's not because I don't think it works, because I know it works. I've seen it work for other people. It's just not my thing. That is a personal thing. But please, by all means, follow me on Instagram. I think it's CXC underscore the podcast. You want to join me? um CXC podcast at Gmail. If you want to ask a question, if you have a comment, there's a million and one ways to get in contact with me. That's what I'll say. Anyway, thank you as always for joining me. Till next time. And of course, I want to say hi to my mom, my biggest fan. Ma, call me.